Welcome to Avian Origins, a journey where we, two brothers, are creating an original anime world and infusing storytelling and style to create a one-of-a-kind clothing brand. My name is Christian Ferguson.
My name's Fletch Ferguson.
Like I said, we're two brothers with a dream of just creating an awesome anime clothing brand based off of our own made-up world that we're creating from the ground up, off our dome pieces out here, creating the world of Etheria. That's the name of it. There's 10 regions in there, 3 clans per region, and there are 15 different classes that any one avian, any half human, half bird being could be from any of these clans. And so last episode, Fletch and I were just talking about the vision statement and the values for our company. And so we're going through and making these videos to document our journey of creating this brand and making our dreams come true. So thanks so much everybody for reaching out to us. I know longtime friend, lifelong friend Lucas and his fiancee Hannah have been helping out and talking and reaching out to me and sending me texts, and I really appreciate all the feedback. So thank you, Lucas and Hannah. Appreciate you guys. Glad to have you guys as part of the flock. Should we keep calling them people like part of the flock, you think?
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. But yeah, thank you everybody. And today we're going to be talking about a cool topic, I think. I don't know. Do you like this topic at all, Fletch?
Yeah, and I also have like little allergies taking over voice, so voice is a little raspy.
I think it's kind of sick. Don't you wish this was your normal voice now?
What?
I said, you know how some people like raspy voices? Like, raspy, yeah. Some people think it's like a more attractive, no?
I don't know.
Oh. Anyway, so today the topic is, so we have these avian species, right? These avian half human, half birds all over Etheria and all these different clans. We've been tossing around this idea and this basically this concept, right? So our logo is like the bird head with this cool feather, and it's kind of like in a circular shape, right? But we were trying to figure out, okay, do we even want to have a bird head as like the logo if our whole entire concept is like half bird, half humans? And the way that we're kind of explaining this whole thing is that for each of the clans, okay, for each of the different 30 clans, each clan has its own, what we're calling an ancestral. So they have their own ancestral bird or their ancestral avian, which is like the original like bird that their clan is either descended from or that their clan like kind of holds in high regards or like reveres or worships type thing. The ancestral might be like the god of the clan. We don't know. These are all things that we're trying to figure out here. But essentially, this original ancestral bird is like the one that a lot of these the avians in that clan kind of get their design elements from, like the ones that we're designing the elements from. And so the whole idea here, or part of the idea here, is that the avian bird logo, like the icon logo, that's like the base avian logo. Like that's the logo that is like the OG, okay? So we can kind of use this analogy of like the Pokeball, right? Where there's like the original Pokeball and there's a bunch of different Pokeballs designs based off the original Pokeball. And like that, we want to have a bunch of different, essentially a different version of this base logo for each clan, okay? And so each clan will have their own version of the base logo, and it's all different, and it depends on like their powers, and it depends on like the color scheme of the clan and like the appearance of the clan itself, all the avians there. So this episode is to try to figure out exactly, get that story right for the Ancestrals. What is the exact lore for the Ancestrals? And honestly, the Ancestral might not even be the final name. I just thought it was kind of sick. Kind of based off of ancestor, bird, and descendants and things like that.
I think it's sick.
Okay. So, what do you think? I mean, do you think that the lore behind kind of like the avian half bird, half humans do you think that they descended from birds, like actual birds, like similar to how like humans and monkeys are kind of similar?
I think the approach that we're taking, we're gonna have to end up having a bird head as the logo. So it only makes sense that they all come from an initial bird. But I don't think we have to go too deep to the fact that how do they become half human, right?
I know you hate getting deep.
Mm-mm. I don't think
Mm-mm.
we have to find out how they have human like attributes.
I mean, we figured out how demons became demons in Demon Slayer. They could have just been demons, right?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, that wasn't that just in the most recent arc?
They just become a demon.
Yeah, remember like Kibutsuji like was a human and he was sick, and then that medicine that the doctor gave him made him crave human flesh and stay out of the sun.
No, he said it. It wasn't as like helpful. But once he tasted human blood from killing him.
Ooh, I think we got differing stories here, bud. But anyway, my point is like we could have just had demons just be like a thing that we didn't know about, like how they came to be, but they gave us the backstory later on. So if it's something that we don't want to address now, we can address it later on with the help of our community,
Mm-hmm.
or we can just kind of set the scene and say like, hey, these birds are like the original beings, and the avians are like descendants from them.
Do you want them to be like big birds,
I didn't think about that,
like
but that could
Lugia?
that could be sick, dude. But I think honestly, I don't think they should have to be big, but I think some ancestrals can be big because like the Swift Bloom clan, they're reminiscent of like hummingbirds, kind of like sleek and like quick. Like their ancestral can be kind of smaller versus like the Talonborn clan, where the Talonborn ancestral can be like massive. That's kind of cool, dude. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So answer me this: when when would the avians in Etheria come into contact with like when in what scenario would they even see the ancestral size? Because one way we can look at is one way we can look at it is they can be kind of spiritual and like not actually physically in the world, or and like okay, if they're spiritual, like these avians can call upon their ancestral in like times of like need or like special like battle moves. Like they can have like an ancestral like blade swipe, and like you can see like kind of like I'm getting hyped right now, but you can see like in Demon Slayer when he does the Hinokame Kaguri thing, where the flaming sword dragon comes out. That's like that's the spiritual way. Or if we think of ancestrals as like an actual like being in the world of Etheria that almost just like has like a temple or something, like a temple like the Greek gods in Percy Jackson have those temple cabin things
Mm-hmm.
where they're like physically in the world.
Well, I know like some regions have like in the heart of the region they have like their sick thing that they kind of like pay homage to.
Right, like in Feyleaf they have the Feyglade, which is like the central area of the region. Or wasn't there one in Umbriel like some sort of like moonlit sanctum, or is that something that we got rid of? I don't remember. I don't
Um,
remember. So if we go to the regions, Umbriel has
Moonlit Sanctum.
yeah, it has the moonlit sanctum. So if we took the physical route, even if we don't take the physical route, dude, even if it's just a spiritual thing, they could have like some sort of like temple or some sort of like shrine to this to the ancestral. Or okay, so that's can you hear my cat in the background? You can't? Okay, she's just making some crazy noises. But So we had let's talk about the routes, okay? So we can make them spiritual, right? Like the spiritual ancestrals. We can make them physical, like God things in the world, where they like can come into battle if we like enlist them and we're like, please come to battle, we need your help, and then like they're like the leaders of the battle, they come swooping in like Lugia all sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two different ways. The third is that these ancestrals, they're like an actual like species, like like a race, not a race, but just like a species of bird that are just in the world, like in the world. Like I'm thinking of remember in Avatar the blue people? They were like
Mm-hmm.
those floating like things that were like all like little
Like platforms.
no, they're actual little like plants that do this. That, like they're floating through the
Oh
air,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
the girl is about to shoot the guy, Jake Sully, and then the thing landed on her arrow,
Mm-hmm.
and it like gave her like the signal of like don't shoot. What if the ancestrals are just like a species of bird that each clan like reveres or revers? I don't know which is the right pronunciation. It's like a sacred bird that their clan is like holds in high regards. And so in each of the clans, those ancestrals are kind of just like kind of all around, and just you see them everywhere, kind of just flying like you. I don't know. That's like another path. So that's the third path. I think you and I like the spiritual one the best.
Like they're not there.
Like they're not there. But then I'm thinking of Percy Jackson again, where the gods, they're not there all the time, but then if you go like talk to them and say, hey, there's a war about to start, will you please help us? And they're like, no, I'm not gonna help. But then you start fighting the war, and then they show up on their flaming chariot. Like, that's also pretty sick too. Because the ancestrals, dude, imagine the ancestrals like having like mental like thought communication where they don't, it's like the Transformers movie, The Rise of the Beasts. Remember like that bird, that metal bird, where it kind of talks through like mental communication a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like the idea of them being there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Shang-Chi whenever he
That,
goes to like the hidden village and the
yeah.
dragon's just in the water and no one really knows about it
Yeah.
until like they need it.
That is cool too. Which one? Because if you do the spiritual one, like I like the idea of being able to like incorporate the spirits like and like empower you, you know, like you can like kind of like get the power of the spirit and then use it in battle or use it in like a fight or something. I guess you can still do that as like a god though too, like as like a being. I'm getting like chills over here. This is sick. So if they were like a being, okay, do we want to call them, are they, do they have kind of like god status? Like they're kind
Mm-hmm.
of worshipped?
Yeah.
What do, if they're god, like if they're like god status, what do they do in their free time? I guess what do like the gods and Greek gods do in their free time? I don't know.
They just chill, dude.
Okay, should we go with that one? Like we don't want to call them gods, we want to call them ancestrals. Like that's like it will be known and assumed, it'll be understood that the ancestrals are god status. We can
Right.
call them like the divine beings, like the original avians. That's kind of sick. So the ancestrals were the original avians. Okay, you wanna go with that?
I
It
think
kind
we
of,
could.
yeah. Ooh,
And then
what do
we
you
can
think?
even say like some ancestrals are like have died and that they're spirits, you know?
Dude. Okay.
Like they died in a war or something.
Like that can be like the lore, dude. Like some Some ancestrals, yeah, they're just like they're not there anymore.
Or if like another avian is like destined to become that.
Well, I was
It'll.
gonna say, dude, like kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender, like when one avatar dies, the next one's reincarnated. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what if one of the avians in our brand like becomes the next ancestral?
But he'd have to like really have like a lot of bird features.
He might not have like. What if they become like one where they can turn into the ancestral, like the ability to turn into the full bird?
Or like, do we even want ancestrals to be full bird?
I think they should be. I think they should be.
Okay.
Where in our OneNote should we put this ancestral tab? Under Etheria, you think? Or should we make a
Mm-mm.
lore tab?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make under Etheria, I'm gonna add a page called lore. Lore. So ancestrals, they are divine beings that each clan,
We can even ask chat for a good description.
yeah, they're divine beings. Each clan, I'm gonna say, each clan has a divine being that they're based off of, I guess.
Yeah.
That the avians are descended from. We'll get the right wording figured out later, but
Mm-hmm.
the ancestrals are physically in the world of Etheria. Should the clans, okay, so I guess we don't have to like make this like a for sure thing, but maybe some ancestrals like aren't, they're like kind of like distant from their clan, and the clan is like, please like help us, and like the ancestrals like angry for some reason because like some avian in the past like wronged them, but then
Yeah.
like some ancestrals are like really present in their clans and like really help out their clans and like do things like there is a very like they're there all the time.
Right. That could be like both. Both are good.
Cool. Some ancestrals are very present in their clans. Some are distant and don't
Like
communicate.
are dormant kind of.
Ooh, that's sick. Some are distant, some are dormant, some are dead, some are missing. Why are there gonna be
Ooh.
quests to like find the ancestral dude?
Why is it needs to be awakened? I guess dormant's like
Yeah. Some are like
should
scattered.
should they be summoned? Like something to be summoned?
Dude, I'm thinking like the way that demon lords are all like different in slime. Like some are like the really intense, like the red guy, and then some are like really small, like Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
Cute. Some are imprisoned.
Mm.
Like there were some ancestrals that were like ancestrals are the original avians. Okay, this is pretty cool, dude. And each ancestral has to have a name.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, any other cool things besides like distant, dormant, dead? Why are they all D? Distant, dormant, dead, missing, imprisoned. Any crazy ones?
Um.
I think that's a good spread right now.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Because dude, we can make ancestral releases, where like the clothing is based off the ancestral.
Yeah, dude. This is really good.
That sounds awesome. All right, dude. That sounds sick. I think that feels good. That feels good to me to have it like ironed out because you and I were kind of back and forth on this. Are there any other topics part of this that we want to go over before we call it?
You can add the size part.
I'm gonna say like demon lords, like
You can have like a
demon
bullet point
lords.
underneath it.
Yeah, I probably should have this all bullet point. Climb every ancestral can be very different in appearance.
Not in appearance, just different, such as appearance, strength, size, power.
Okay.
Personality,
Mm-hmm.
age. You think?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All
Dude,
right, good.
we don't want to incorporate like Percy Jackson where like ancestrals can like have like demigod children, right?
Dude, that's like left to be discovered, bud.
That's crazy. All right. That's sick. Because we don't want to say that all avians are like demigods of ancestral like yeah, that's too sus. That's too sus. All right, that's sick, dude. Anything else you want to add to this?
I think it's good.
Yeah, we can always come back and we can add it based on what suggestions anybody listening has, any critical feedback, anything like that, comments, concerns, ideas.
I think we ironed this out, dude. I think we're on a good path.
I do too. So okay, so how do we get this onto our social media? Like, I feel like with every episode, should there be a post? Because Lucas made a good point. Like, if I just put them on their stories on Insta, then they're kind of gone. But unless I make it into like the archive stories thing.
We probably should do a post every video.
Yeah. Kind of recapping what we talk about.
Mm-hmm. Like even like a picture of just this paragraph.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see what we can do. Good stuff, dude. That's awesome.
It's really good.
Thanks for hashing this out, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, bud.
All right, bud.
You.
Love you.
You. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
What the heck? How did you do that? What? How did that happen?
We have to mimic what we just did. Bye, bud.
Bye, bud. How did that work? I know if I do this, that thumbs up, right? If I do this, does that do a heart?
Mm-hmm.
How did I do the
Can you put your
balloons?
hands up?
I don't know. That was crazy.
It was like perfect timing.
That's awesome. All right, good stuff, bud. See
All
ya.
right, love you, bud. Bye.